Om, the Chandogya Upanishad in simple English, presented by Svayam Prakash Sharma, Part 4 of 14, Chapter 2 concluded, sections 15 to 24. This part contains sections 15 to 24 of Chapter 2 and concludes the chapter. The various chants are continued from the Vairupya to the chant for the all, different modes of chanting, and rewards for those who offer oblations is given. Upanishad, Chapter 2, sections 15 to 24. The Vairupya chant is the chant that is woven on rain. Here, when the mists come together, that is the syllable him. When clouds form, that is the prastav. When it rains, that is the udgit. When it flashes and thunders, that is the pratihar. And when the rain stops, that is the nidhan. Whosoever in this way knows this Vairupya chant as woven on rain, he acquires cattle of different and beautiful forms. He reaches the full length of life. He lives well. He becomes great in children and in cattle and great in fame. One should never be critical of the rain when it rains. That is the rule. The Vairaj chant is the chant that is woven on the seasons. Here, the spring is the syllable him. Summer is the prastav. The rainy season, the monsoon is the udgit. Autumn is the pratihar. And winter is the nidhan. Whosoever in this way knows this Vairaj chant as woven on the seasons, he shines with children, cattle, and with the luster of sacred wisdom. He reaches a full length of life. He lives well. He becomes great in offspring and in cattle, and great in fame. One should never speak ill of the seasons. The Sakvari chant is the chant that is woven on the worlds. Here, the earth is the syllable him. The atmosphere is the prastav. The sky is the udgit. The quarters of space are the pratihar, and the ocean is the nidhan. Whosoever knows the verses of the Sakvari chant as woven on the worlds, he becomes possessed of the worlds himself. He reaches a full length of life. He lives well. He becomes great in offspring and in cattle, and great in fame. One should never speak ill of the worlds. That is the rule. The verses of the Revati chant are woven on the animals. Here, the goats are the syllable him. The sheep are the prastav. The cows are the udgit. The horses are the pratihar, and the human being is the nidhan, the culmination of animal development. Whosoever knows as such these verses of the Revati chant as woven on the animals, he himself becomes a possessor of animals. He reaches the full length of his life. He lives well. He becomes great in offspring and in cattle, and great in fame. One should never speak ill of the animals. That is the rule. The Yagya chant is the chant that is woven on the parts of the body. Here, the hair is the syllable him. The skin is the prastav. The flesh is the udgit. Bones are the pratihar, and marrow is the nidhan. Whosoever knows as such this Yagya chant as woven on the parts of the body, he becomes equipped with limbs, and he does not become defective in any limb. He reaches the full length of his life. He lives well. He becomes great in offspring and in cattle, and great in fame. One should not eat marrow for a year. In fact, one should not eat marrow at all. That is the rule. The Rajan chant is the chant that is woven on the divinities. Here, fire is the syllable him. Air is the prastav. The sun is the udgit. The stars are the pratihar, and the moon is the nidhan. Whosoever knows as such this Rajan chant as woven on the divinities, he goes to the same world of the divinities. He goes to equality and to complete union with these very divinities. He is raised to the region of the divinity whom he has worshipped, and he participates in his glory. He reaches the full length of his life. He lives well. He becomes great in offspring and in cattle, and great in fame. One should never speak ill of a knower of Brahm. That is the rule. And finally, we have the chant of the all, woven on all. Here, the threefold knowledge of the Vedas is the syllable him. The three worlds are the prastav. Fire, air, and sun are the udgit. Stars, birds, and the light rays are the pratihar. Serpents, gandharvas, and the ancestors are the nidhan. Whosoever knows as such the chant of the all as woven on all, he himself becomes all. He becomes everything that is in existence. On this, there is this verse. There are triple things which are fivefold, which have five parts. There is nothing that is greater than these. He who knows that truth, he knows all. All the quarters of space bring gifts to him. One should meditate with the thought, I am the all. That is the rule. Yes, that is the rule. Now the different ways of chanting are given. Of the chants of the psalm, I choose the high sounding chant as being good for cattle. This is the song sacred to fire. The undefined chant belongs to Prajapati. The defined chant belongs to Som. The soft and the smooth chant belongs to Vayu, the wind. The smooth and the strong chant belongs to Indra, the king of the gods. The heron-like chant belongs to Brihaspati, lord of speech and intellect, while the ill-sounding chant belongs to Varun. One should practice all the chants except the one belonging to Varun, which should be avoided altogether. One should sing all the praises carefully, thinking carefully and reflecting on all of them. He should sing the following: May I obtain immortality for the gods. May I obtain offerings for the fathers. May I obtain hope for men, water and grass for cattle, the world of heaven for the sacrificer, and food for myself by my singing. All the vowels represent the bodies of Indra. All the spirants are the bodies of Prajapati, and all the consonants are the bodies of death. If one were to censure or criticize a person for his vowels, then he should tell that one who censures, I have taken refuge and shelter in Indra. He will answer you for me. And if one were to censure a person for his parents, he should tell the one who censures, I have taken refuge and shelter in Prajapati. He will destroy you. And if one should censure and criticize a person for his consonants, he should tell the one who censures, who criticizes, I have taken refuge and shelter in death. He will burn you up. All the vowels should be pronounced resounding and strong, with the intention, may I give strength to Indra. All the spirants should be pronounced well open, without slurring, without suppressing, with the intention, may I surrender myself to Prajapati. All the consonants should be pronounced slowly, without joining them together, with the intention, may I take myself away from death. Now we come to the different kinds of virtuous life. There are three branches of duty: sacrifice, study, and charity. The first of these is austerity or self-controlled. The second is the pursuit of sacred wisdom, living in the house of the teacher. And the third is the total control of the body while living in the house of the teacher. The person who pursues all these, he attains to the worlds of the virtuous, and he who always stands firm in Brahm, he attains life eternal. Prajapati meditated intensely on the worlds. From the worlds, thus meditated upon intensely, came out the threefold knowledge in the form of the three Vedas. He again meditated intensely on this knowledge, from which came out the three syllables Bhu, the earth, Bhuva, the atmosphere, and Sva, the sky. He again meditated intensely on them, and from them, meditated upon as such, came out the syllable Om. All the leaves of a plant are held together by its stalk. In the same way, all speech is held together by the syllable Om. In fact, the syllable Om is everything in existence. Yes, the syllable Om is indeed everything in existence. Now we come to the different rewards for those who offer the various oblations. Those who have explained and interpreted the sacred wisdom have said that the first, the morning offering, belongs to the Vasus. The second, the midday offering, belongs to the Rudras. And the third, the evening offering, belongs to the Adityas and the Vishwadevas. Where then is the world of the sacrificer? If the sacrificer does not know his world, then how can he perform sacrifices? So, only a person who knows this can perform sacrifices. Only a person who knows his world can perform sacrifices. Before the start of the morning prayer, he sits behind the Gadpatya fire, the householder's fire, which corresponds to the earth and is dedicated to the world of men. He faces north and sings the chant sacred to the Vasus. Open the door of this world that we may see you for obtaining of sovereignty over the worlds. Then he makes the offering with this recitation: I adore fire, who dwells on earth and in the world. O fire, win the world for me, the sacrificer. To this world will I then go. There will the sacrificer then go after life. Praise be to you. Take away the bolt that threatens. Having said this, he rises. The Vasus fulfill the morning offering for him. Before the start of the midday offering, he sits behind the Agnidriya fire, which is the southern fire, corresponding to the sky and dedicated to the worlds of the fathers. He faces north and sings the chant sacred to the Rudras. Open the door of this world of the ancestors so that we may see you for the obtaining of sovereignty. Then he makes the offering with this recitation: I adore you, air, who dwells in the sky and in the world. O air, win the world of the ancestors for me, the sacrificer. To this world of the ancestors, of the fathers, I will then go. There, to the world of the fathers, will the sacrificer go after life. Praise be to you. Take away the threatening bolt. Having said this, he rises. The Rudras fulfill the midday offering for him. Before the start of the third offering, he sits behind the Ahavanya fire, which corresponds to heaven and is dedicated to the worlds of the gods. He faces north and sings the chant sacred to the Adityas and the Vishwadevas. Open the door of this world of heaven, that we may see you for obtaining of sovereignty over heaven. He chants this separately for the Adityas and the Vishwadevas. Then he makes the offering with this recitation: I adore the Adityas and the Vishwadevas who dwell in heaven and the world. O Adityas and Vishwadevas, win the world of heaven for me, the sacrificer, to which world of the sacrificer I will go. There, to that world of heaven, will the sacrificer go after death. Praise be to you. Take away the threatening bolt. The Adityas and the Vishwadevas fulfill the third offering for him. Whosoever knows this, he knows the fullness of the sacrifice. He knows the full sacrifice. He knows the sacrifice in full. Yes, he who knows this. This concludes part 4 and chapter 2 of the Chandogya Upanishad. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om.